When someone actually notices your gig on Fiverr and they do follow up with you, do they wind up paying more or less than they're expecting? That's this time on The Gig Doctor.
The Gig Doctor.
I'm Dane Scott, top-rated Fiverr seller and gig consultant. And on today's Gig Doctor video, let's talk a little about the psychology of the buyer and how we can help or hurt our relationship with them depending on how we price things. And at the end of this today, I'm going to give you a $50 head slapper video for free, just as a thank you for spending the time with me here. And it's not going to be a long one, so stick with me. All right, a scenario. You're a Fiverr buyer, and you search for someone who can do a good job of whatever it is that you need done. Writing an article, or doing a voiceover, or creating a cartoon sketch, or something else. When the results come up in the search, then we see a gig image that catches our interest. The price seems super great, and their work just seems great too. So yeah, you're excited. When we visit the gig, the demo looks or it sounds terrific too. Now, I'm going to get more specific and talk about the particular service so that this doesn't get too vague. So let's just stick with voiceovers because that's something I know. So let's say that we're searching for a voiceover person and we have found a gig. We're excited about the price. We're excited about how they do their demo. Everything seems to be like really looking good. All right, so we as the buyer noticed this voiceover gig. We were attracted by the gig image. We were impressed by the demo. We were excited by the value, which is, let's say, $5 for the first 100 words. Okay, well, sure seems like it's going to be a great bargain. Now, we have a 500-word script that we need done. So the price we would think would be 5 times $5, right? $25. Still more than reasonable. And after all, this person really does have the voice we need, and we were impressed with their demo. So we start filling in the order details, and we plug in any information, including that word count of 500. Suddenly something strange happens. The amount that they're going to charge jumps to $135. And after some reflection, we realize that, while the first 100 words were $5, each additional 50 words are $10. And in reading the description of the gig, we see that it's required that commercial rights be added. So we scroll down and we find the extras there, and we discover the commercial rights is $60. So suddenly our $5 voiceover turns out to be $195. Then we happen to glance at their delivery time, and it's 4 days. And we can get it faster, but we'll have to spend another $100 for that. So how does this make us feel as a buyer? Probably angry. Definitely, I would say frustrated. Even if we do have that $195 or $295 with rush delivery available to us to spend, it's in our budget, we're going to have lost a little respect for the seller who has clearly played the game of seriously backloading their pricing. You dangle that low starting price and then you get them afterwards. Personally, I don't like to see this. Maybe some buyers can put up with it. Maybe some of the sellers are even getting some good sales, who knows. But I think for every buyer who is willing to tolerate this, there's going to be more than one who is going to be turned off by it. And let me tell you why I think that is. There's an old expression, I don't know if it's used as much anymore. Large economy size. If an ounce of peanut butter in a small jar costs a certain number of cents, an ounce of peanut butter in a large jar should cost less per ounce, okay? It's the classic incentive to buy more. Now imagine if that was reversed. Suppose that the peanut butter actually cost more per ounce in the bigger jar. Well, what are people going to do? Buy the small jars, of course. Or more likely, they'll buy another brand that doesn't do something ridiculous with their pricing. I think it's not only fair, but really expected that a Fiverr buyer who orders more of something should see their price per unit drop or at least hold stable. So I'm not an advocate of the backloading price technique. I'd rather have a little higher starting price for, say, the first 100 words and then lower that for each additional 100 words. To do the reverse of that shows a certain kind of contempt for the buyer that if I were a buyer, that would really put me on my guard. And that's not what we want. We want to genuinely have our buyers' interests at heart in everything we do, including the structuring of our pricing. For Fiverr gigs where a commercial rights extra is applicable, I have no problem with asking for that extra. But I think it looks weird if the commercial rights extra is higher than the starting price of the gig. If all they need is 100 words and we're charging, say, $15 for that, it's going to feel insulting if they get stuck with twice or three times that amount for the commercial rights. None of this is to discourage you from charging whatever you think your services are worth and what you think you can reasonably ask. Figure out what that number needs to be and charge it. All I'm saying is consider the psychology of the buyer when you're structuring your pricing. Being upfront with buyers is better than playing the gotcha with them with higher prices on the back end. And of course, the best price from the consumer standpoint is free. And I'd like to give you a valuable free thing today. It's my $49.95 head slapper video, Knowing the Unknowable on Fiverr. Now, don't go away here. This doesn't have anything tied to it. It's just free. It shows you how to mine some pretty priceless information and use it to earn more money day in and day out on the Fiverr platform. This is a video, and all my head slapper videos are ideas that occurred to me, and once they did, it was like, oh! I did a head slap because it was something so obvious, but it was kind of hidden in plain sight. That's what's the case with this one that I'm giving you. Altogether, I have 5 of these. If you wanted to do all of them, they're at the Gig Doctor right now at a special discount price, and you can check those out, especially Head Slapper 4, everybody's going to want. Especially if they're doing voiceovers. But Head Slapper 5 is free. The link is in the show notes. And now in the comments, let me hear from you about your own philosophy on pricing. What works for you? And what's your take on the things I've said today? I'd like to hear from you. Be sure to like and subscribe. And watch in a few more seconds here for a couple other gig doctors that I think will benefit you. And I'll see you next time.
The Gig Doctor.